Well, welcome to the Sunday Sports Sermon here on New York Sports Wicker Media. This is Y2K99 broadcasting from the Wicker Chair. Thanks very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you like it, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend. Any Mets fans, Jets fans, Rangers fans, anybody who just wants their info on the world of sports, just anything going on, just to hear one person's opinion, let them know about it. Throw a little bit of love out. It's always appreciated. So I absolutely thank you for any support that you do give me. Oh, check me out with Jeremy at Jets Chaos Wednesday nights, 10 p.m., and also with Green Bean Thursday nights at 8 o'clock when I help out with Green Bean and Frankie from Flatbush and give some Jets trivia. So definitely check that out. Now, today, here's what I want to talk about. The last two nights, I went to the Norfolk Tides Syracuse Mets games. Syracuse is in town for 6 days, and I decided to go Friday night, and then the Virginia Jets fans group, we all went, there were about 40 of us. We went to the Saturday night game. And on the Friday game, it was a lot of offense early on. I'm not really recapping the games because I don't think anybody's really too interested in how the games went. But I did want to talk about one particular player. So after the third inning, it was 5-3 Norfolk on top, and the Mets brought in this pitcher, Eric Orrs. Now, I had heard a little bit about him on a Mets podcast when they were previewing the top 20 prospects, and he was ranked around 19 or 20. And there weren't a whole lot of pitchers that I knew on the Syracuse team. I knew some of the position players, Dominic Smith, Mark Vientos, Travis Blankenhorn, Janeshwi Fargas, but not so much with the pitchers. So Orrs comes in, and he absolutely shuts Norfolk down. He threw 3 innings. He struck out 6 batters. He only allowed one base runner, a single. Oh, and by the way, that base runner, he promptly picked them off. He really settled the game down and allowed Syracuse to take the game over. They eventually won that night 14-5. Now, Orrs, I wanted to dig into this guy a little bit here because if you talk about the Mets right now, the biggest concern most people have, most fans have, is their bullpen. Edwin Diaz has been fantastic as a closer, but it's getting to Diaz. Drew Smith and Seth Lugo, when they're on, they've been excellent, but they've had their moments. And, no bullpen is going to have 7 or 8 Mariano Riveras. It just doesn't exist. But you want to have, I'd say, 3 or 4 reliable guys that you feel you can go to. And it's the Mets have a lot of guys who, when they're on, they're really good, but when they're off, it's pretty scary to watch. So Orrs was a 5th-round pick in 2020. He's 24 years old, from Elk Grove, Illinois, which is only about a half hour east of where I lived for about 20 years. I actually like Elk Grove Village. It's a pretty good town. I actually got to see Kenny Rogers one 4th of July for free, Travis Tritt for free one year. They were doing a bunch of free concerts, and hey, credit to their government. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of their police department because I really didn't deserve that speeding ticket, but that's okay. It's water under the bridge. But Eric Orrs, his trademark is his splitter. So it's ranked as a 70. Now, when scouts are talking about grading an individual pitch that a pitcher has, it's ranked on a scale of 20 to 80. So the fact that his splitter is ranked a 70 shows that it is a plus pitch. And the Tides could not figure that splitter out to save their lives. It was swings and misses, weak ground balls. They just could not do anything with it. Now this season, Orrs he's thrown 28 innings, 43 strikeouts. So he's averaging 1.5 strikeouts per inning. Really impressive. His WHIP, which is walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, is 1.07, which is a very good mark. You want it to be right around a 1. Once you get to about a 1.5, you're kind of treading on dangerous territory. The issue is his ERA was close to a 6 going into the series. He gave up 8 home runs early on in the season. He started to settle down. After the last couple of days, he's dropped his ERA down to a 5.14. So he's dropped his ERA by over half a run just in the last couple of days. The other thing that I really like about Eric Orr is he's a 2-time cancer survivor. This kid at 24, he survived testicular cancer and skin cancer. So you know he's tough and you know he battles. I'd say to get him to the big leagues, he needs to really develop one more pitch. He throws a slider, he throws a curveball, he doesn't throw a changeup or anything like that, but that splitter is going to be his bread and butter. But to really thrive in the major leagues, you need two pitches as a reliever. I mean, Edwin Diaz just uses his fastball and a slider. That's it, but they're plus pitches. So if Orrs can reliably locate a slider or a curveball and present it to a batter where it's a notable difference, because you want those pitches coming out of the hand looking kind of similar, but then they break late, to try to throw these batters off. You don't want them to be able to calculate what those pitches are as they're coming in. So if he can develop that one more pitch over the course of this season, I guarantee you, Eric Orrs will be in this bullpen late this season, worst case early next season. I really believe that's going to happen. And coming back from the game on Saturday night, that game was something else. I will say this: it was 5-5 going into extra innings, and the Mets scored 8 runs in the top of the 10th. The Tides did come back with 3 of their own, but it was a 13-8 Mets victory. And so a couple of the guys from my group and I, Tim, his wife Cheryl, Ray, and myself, were on the Tide, which is the light rail, and we're heading back to our cars. And the train was pretty packed, and we've all got Jets shirts on because we're trying to represent the Virginia Jets fans. And there's this one gentleman who had a garbage bag filled with a bunch of different snacks and whatnot. He was just making his ride back from downtown. And he just kind of leaned over and he's kind of eyeing us up and down very suspiciously, kind of like this, right? He goes, "Yo, Jet fans." And we said, "Yeah." And Ray, who's a very happy, friendly guy, a really good dude, he says, "Yeah, we're Jets fans, are you?" He's like, "Oh, hell no, man. Hell no, man." And, the guys all cracked up. The people sitting across from us were like Cowboys and Commander fans, right? We can't offend anybody now. The Commander fans, right? They're laughing it up, and I kind of went deep down. It was like, I'm so sick and tired of this and being a joke. I'm sick of being a punching bag where it's like we were being mocked. And yes, it was in friendly terms. Yes, the team has been lousy for 12 years. We know that for most of the last 12 years. But at the same time, it deep down, I was cringing that, we're still at that place. But you know what? We as Jets fans, we know where this team is going. We've seen what's been going on the last couple of years. The record doesn't reflect it yet. It doesn't reflect it yet. But we know how this team is coming together. We see the talent being acquired. And after watching the Flight series, after watching those 5 episodes, we not only see the moves that are being made, we see how they were made and why they were made. And that just makes me that much more excited about it. And I'm feeling more and more confident over time that the days of the New York Jets being the NFL's laughingstock are coming to an end. That said, we need a quick start. The Jets have got to get off to a quick start. And I want to say this right now. I'm going to talk about, for a few minutes, I want to talk about something that nobody else is really talking about that I have seen in terms of the Jets being a successful team this year. We hear about Zach Wilson developing as a quarterback. We hear about Mekhi Becton staying healthy. We hear about the pass rush. All of this type of stuff. Robert Saleh becoming a better in-game coach, getting not so much as play calling, but the communication, like not taking having to take a timeout after a delayed game, stuff like that. But I think one of the biggest factors is going to look like this. Where do I see the Jets being their strongest on the offensive side of the football? Right now, it's the running game. This offensive line is meant for zone blocking. These offensive linemen are at their best at run blocking. Okay, for the most part. George Fant, I would say, is the one exception. But Connor McGovern, Laken Tomlinson, Elijah Vera Tucker, and I would even say Mekhi Becton are all better run blockers than they are pass blockers. They drafted Breece Hall. They kept Tevin Coleman. They're bringing back Michael Carter. They've got a couple of tight ends who can really block well, which they absolutely did not have last year. Zach Wilson's a little bit more improving at this point. Now, I believe in him. I believe he can develop, but he still has to prove two things to me: his accuracy and that he can read defenses, that he can read what the defense is showing him. So right now, I want the Jets to be a run-first offense. That should be their focus. Now, on the defensive side of the football, what are they at their best at? At this point, it's pass defense. The pass rushers. They have about a dozen defensive linemen, and almost all of those defensive linemen are better at pass rushing than they are run blocking. I'm just going to start reading through the names: Carl Lawson, Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, Sheldon Rankin, Solomon Thomas, Bradley Anai, Jacob Martin. We could keep going. I think the one exception might be Nathan Shepard. He's a little bit better as a run stopper, but he doesn't do a whole lot well except take penalties. But almost all of these defensive linemen, you want to use them as pass rushers. The Jets want to rotate these defensive linemen and send them in waves after the quarterback. And then looking at the back end of the defense, they got DJ Reed. They drafted Sauce Gardner, signed Jordan Whitehead. Now, the first two in particular, the cornerbacks, are fantastic cover corners. That's what they were focusing on there. Jordan Whitehead's a little bit more of a box safety as I see it, but he can cover when he needs to. So the strength of the Jets defense is the pass defense, rushing the quarterback and covering these receivers. So when you factor that in, the best thing that the Jets can do is take early leads in this game. Because if they're ahead, they're in a position to control the clock with their running game. Also, they're going to force the other team, they're going to force the opponent's offense to throw the ball a whole lot more, and the Jets will know that's coming, and what can they do? They can start setting those pass rushers with confidence at the quarterback. Meanwhile, you have Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Bryce Hall, Brandon Eccles. You've got those guys, and that's just the cornerbacks, not even getting into LaMarcus Joyner and whatnot at safety, or Jason Pinnock at safety, who are in position to make big plays. Defend those passes, possibly force a turnover. And when you do that, that's when you take the stranglehold on these games. But if they're playing from behind, now you're testing that Jets run defense, which I've said before, it's the shakiest part of this defense to me. They didn't upgrade it at all at linebacker, unless, of course, Marcel Harris suddenly turns out to be a revelation. But they didn't replace Foley Fatukasi, who walked away in free agency to Jacksonville. I wanted to sign DJ Jones. I was speaking about it for weeks. They did not sign him. And so to me, it's going to take a collective effort to really do this. The best upgrade that the Jets made with their run defense was probably Jordan Whitehead, because he hits like a missile. Carl Lawson coming back is pretty good. Jermaine Johnson plays the run pretty well also. But the best run upgrade that they made was Jordan Whitehead. So that's my biggest concern as far as the defense goes. And then Zach Wilson may turn out to be the kind of quarterback who can lead a team from behind and win a game. It's just not something we've seen yet. So to me, early leads, they're pivotal for this team to succeed in the year 2022. So that's just a couple of thoughts on the Jets. And real quick, I also want to mention that the Rangers did sign Sammy Blais forward to a one-year, $1.525 million contract. So he got a raise of $250,000. I thought that was a smart move. They brought him over in the Pavel Buchnevich trade, a trade that a lot of Rangers fans did not think very highly of. He played 14 games with the team and was looking pretty good until PK Subban made that illegal slew foot and tore his ACL, and Blais missed the rest of the season. But the Rangers have 8 free agent forwards this season that they have to figure out what they're going to do with. Most are unrestricted, a couple are restricted. Julien Gauthier, Capo Caco are the 2 restricted free agents. So at least they have a little bit of insurance by keeping Sammy Blais, so I think that's a wise signing. And as far as the Stanley Cup Finals go, you know what? I just don't have it in me to watch. I'm glad Colorado's up. You know what? There seems to be a debate amongst a lot of sports fans when your team gets eliminated in the playoffs. What do you want the team that eliminated you? Do you want them to succeed? Do you want them to go all the way? That way you can say you've been eliminated by the champion, or do you want them out immediately? I tend to fall into the latter camp. I want them done. I want them to hurt the same way we hurt. Now, with the Tampa Bay Lightning, I don't think it's going to hurt them too bad to lose in the finals to a fantastic Colorado team, especially when the Lightning are coming off 2 consecutive Stanley Cups. I think winning 11 straight series and losing the finals, I don't think it's going to exactly drive their fans into mental or psychotherapy or anything like that. I think they'll live okay. But no, I don't want to be part of any team's championship highlight package. Like the Jets in '98, when the Broncos are on the America's team, they talk about the Jets AFC championship game. I don't need to see that. I don't want to be there. The 2015 Kansas City Royals, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see the recap of the 2015 World Series. No, I want that team to lose. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. What side of the debate do you fall on? So if it's in any sport, when your team gets eliminated, do you want the team that beat your team? Do you want them to win so you could say that you lost to the best, or do you want that team to be eliminated also? So I got my stance. I'm pretty firm on it. I'm curious to hear yours as well. All right, well, that's it for this week's edition of the Sunday Sports Sermon. I will see you Wednesday night on Jets Chaos with Jeremy. Looking forward to it. And we will talk to you soon from the Wicker Chair. Be well.